Lately, I've been playing OlliOlli on my PC. It was developed by Roll7 and published on the PS Vita in January 2014, and then it was ported to a bunch of other systems. Devolver Digital published the PC port in July of the same year. It's a pretty simple game, 2D skateboarding game where you play a nameless skater going to 5 different areas and make it to the end of each level while pulling off sick tricks. The whole game is like pretty much all other Devolver Digital games in that it's really arcadey and not really that complicated. The whole point of the game is to complete each level as best as you possibly can, doing all sorts of crazy tricks and trying not to fail along the way. There are 5 areas in the whole game: a city, a junkyard, a seaside port, a Russian military base that kind of reminds me of Mother Russia Bleeds, and a nighttime city themed around Tokyo. Each area has 5 levels, but that doesn't mean it just has 25 levels. There are 2 different kinds of stages, career and spots. The career levels are about achieving 5 goals, which I'll get into later, and spots are about getting as many points through constant grinds and tricks. Beating the career levels unlocks a spot in the same level. Each stage also has pro levels, which can be unlocked by completing all the goals in an amateur level. They also have goals, but I haven't really noticed anything happen if I do all the goals in pro levels, so they're just there if you want more challenge. Getting to the end of each of these levels also unlocks a spot, so there's that. So in total, combining the amateur career levels, the pro career levels, and both of their spots, you have pretty much 100 levels of skateboarding fun. The controls in this game are pretty interesting. All it uses are the left analog stick, A button, and shoulder buttons. If you plan on playing this game, make sure to get it on a PlayStation console, or just get a controller to plug into the computer, like I did. In order to perform any tricks, you hold down the analog stick and flick it in certain ways to do certain tricks, and they all make you go airborne. Think of it like in a fighting game when you have to do like quarter circle forward, half circle back, full circle. You do the same thing in this game. Since you're always moving forward, you have to rotate the stick and release it to perform tricks, then hold a direction to grind. You can even perform tricks off the rails to jump onto other rails where you can continue doing a long trick combo and get a lot of points. You can start a combo at the beginning of the stage and keep it up until the end of the stage, and you'll just get so many points for that. There are already tons of tricks and grinds with just the analog stick, but you can also hold down either of the shoulder buttons to do even more. They make the skater lean left or right respectively, and can make him spin while in the air. Be careful though, because you can't grind or land while spinning, which, I mean, it's kind of funny when he wipes out, but no. There are multiple times where I plan on doing a trick, which goes into a grind, but I hold the shoulder button too early and miss the rail entirely. Another thing that's really bad to miss is a landing. When you reach the ground, you have to hold the analog stick and the A button. Bad timing can ruin your run and make a great combo completely useless, and can even make you wipe out if you don't recover. Getting the timing just right for that perfect drink will give you tons of points if you've done a good combo. That's what the game really comes down to: timing. Timing your jumps, timing your grinds, timing jumping off rails, and timing on landings. Getting the hang of this is pretty much required to get through the game, and that's not really a bad thing. All the levels are really short once you get that good run, and there are all sorts of different grinding paths to go along. It's pretty fun to find them all, and it takes so many tries to do, but once it clicks, it's really satisfying when you reach the end of the harder levels. It's kind of like Cuphead in that way. The levels will take a long time to get through, wipe out a lot, and one level could probably take me a whole hour. But once I get that one good run with all sorts of crazy mad tricks, it felt so good. So, OlliOlli is a pretty challenging game that's kind of like 2D skate with half the controls and the ideology of Super Meat Boy. It's tricky and all about trial and error, plus it's also really well animated. The amount of detail on the skater's sprite is incredibly impressive, especially with all the different tricks you can do. As much fun as I have with the game, I still have some issues. Some small, others kind of irritating. The main small issue I have is that I don't really like the soundtrack. It's lots of electronic and I don't know if I'd call it dubstep because I didn't really listen to it very often. It's not awful, but it's just not really my style. So, not much of an issue, that's really just my preference, but whatever. My big issue is when the game feels like it ignores me in a way. Not sure if it's the game or me just being really bad, but sometimes the grinds won't register when I'm clearly right above the rail and not doing anything else. Or when I'm having to jump from a small stretch of pavement to another and the skater doesn't get in the crouching position to jump. My other problem is some of the missions given. Each level has a goal for getting a certain amount of points at the end, or just getting so many in a certain combo. And the other 3 goals are different every time, sort of. They usually involve getting certain items and reaching the end, pulling off certain tricks, or grinding certain rails. Those are fine, but the ones I really can't stand are the challenges about not grinding. These levels are lined with so many rails, so you can continue tricks. So not being able to is just really annoying. You hold down to grind and land, so timing is a little bit aggravating when you have to go for so long and not grind. And then you accidentally grind and you have to start the whole thing over again. These challenges are just, they're not very fun. Those are really my only problems with the game, though. They can be kind of annoying when they happen, and the soundtrack isn't really my style. But aside from that, it's a fun, arcadey skateboarding game with lots of content to it. This kind of video isn't really a complete review since I haven't beaten it yet, but I just wanted to talk about a game I've been playing a lot of recently. Will I keep playing OlliOlli? Yes, I will, if my controller worked. A couple months ago, my controller that I use for my PC just kind of stopped working, and it hasn't worked in months, and I have no idea why. I'm gonna blame this on Microsoft. That's all I got to say for now. Thanks for watching, hope you have a great day, and I will see you next time.